And I want to share another story with you. There was a group that went to a cemetery in Israel, and they were having like a yard site. A guy drives up, and he goes to a certain kibbutz. He unfurls this banner, and he goes, "Ruti titnas'i li, will you marry me?" He's proposing in the cemetery. So they're saying, like, is this guy, is he normal? They went to talk to him, but he got in the car, and he left the cemetery. 15 minutes later, he came back, and the girl comes out of the car. She goes to the kibbutz. She starts crying on the kibbutz. Now these guys come, like, what's the story here? There's some story going on. And she tells him, she says, David, her fiancé, let me tell them what happened. And she says, I grew up in Yerushalayim, very religious home. I had bad friends. It didn't go so well for me. I got kicked out of school. My father was a simple guy. He was a rabbi. But he never lost confidence in me. Stop keeping Shabbat. I didn't care. My parents lived in a very religious area. I put the radio on Shabbat. They never said a word to me. Not a word. And I had shorts and tank top. My father would walk with me 3 times a week. What can we do for you, Ruti? Is there anything we can do for you? I moved out. And I, led my own life. I was very happy, but I missed my family. I didn't talk to them in 15 years. Finally, I said to myself, I'm trying to keep Shabbat this week. I'm calling my father and telling him I'm going to come by and say hello. She's waiting. The first Shabbat she's keeping in 15 years. And after Shabbat, she dials the number. And her mother says, Ruti, they just took him to the hospital. He had a heart attack. She says, Shimrechem, what timing? She runs to the emergency room, and it was too late. He passed away, and she starts to cry and cry and cry. At the funeral, she fainted. She decided to work on herself and come back to her roots a little bit more. And she met David, who had the same kind of a history. And so David says to them, I thought the best place in the world for me to propose would be right there by her father's grave, because he was there to be her support her whole life. He never questioned her. He was always there for her. He supported her all her life. That's how you raise children, by the way. That's how you raise good children.